I'm going to move to kind of a second level of checklist. This is exactly how we do this. Okay, good. Now let's dig in a little deeper on the first huge thing that's super important. Is this a simple business, and can I predict where it's going to be? I
so
really want to know that.
Like we spent a lot of time going through this checklist, and you're choosing to go way before the checklist.
Oh, this is part of the process. You
I
want
get
to
it.
know
It's
logistics of the checklist.
No.
I'm carrying the
It's part
boxes
of
to the truck.
process.
I don't know what you'd call it.
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, we have not yet made it to this checklist.
Not to the major checklist.
The major
which
checklist.
we're not going to get to unless we get through the minor checklist.
Totally. This is a checklist that's done after all the research is done as a check on oneself, correct?
The big checklist, the one that takes like 20 pages of dense answers.
Yeah.
That one is where we dig in deeper. That's what I would say there. That's where we try to avoid making a mistake. And that bigger checklist can take us 100 hours. Right. So I don't want to start spending 100 hours.
Is that a different checklist?
No. Well,
no.
Damn. So hard to say. Like I said, it's a pyramid. So draw a pyramid and draw a line close to the top and then draw a line in the middle.
Yeah, okay.
And you have the pyramid broken into 3 pieces. And I'm going to call this the checklist pyramid. And the very tippy top part of this thing is 4 questions. And I'm really just going to answer 3 of them. Do I understand the business? Does it have a moat? Do I like the management team? I'm going to do that really quickly. Then I'm going to go to 8 questions that cover the whole range. And the first one is that we hammer, and when I say we, I'm talking about me and my analysts, which help keep me honest about this so that I can talk to these guys and they can make sure that they're feeding back and I'm not in some sort of, cognizant dissonance somehow. Yeah.
So now this part you're talking about is involving in-depth research.
It'll start to, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to really check some boxes here that I just looked at really quickly. The first one is kind of part of the do I understand the business thing, and that is really dialing in. Is this a simple business? Not just do I think I can understand it, but is it actually very simple? That's a huge part of getting all this right, you guys. I mean, if you keep trying to buy into businesses that are not simple, it's, simple is very relative. It's simple for you. Simple for you.
And the second tier of the pyramid is not the checklist that is the rules checklist that begins with radar, where the first checkpoint is business is owned.
No.
What is
I'm
this?
still just pretty in my head.
Okay. Just being clear. So we're not yet onto the checklist that we spent many episodes going through.
Still trying to make it worthwhile getting there.
Got it.
All right. So that's first piece of this thing. Is it simple enough for me? And the second thing is it a dominant market position, which I can figure out pretty quickly, right? I can understand by reading about the company in their 10K and a little bit in the press. Do I think they have a kind of a dominant position somehow?
Is this the list from
Ackman?
Bill Ackman.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this is Bill's list, and it's a very good overview.
Yeah, it's an excellent list.
It really is. So there's the next thing is, okay, great. Let's just make sure if it's simple enough, they actually are dominant in their market. And that was a really tough question on Sprouts because they're little relative to the Krogers and the Whole Foods and the, all these other big companies. So that we couldn't get a very good answer to that right away. So, okay, that doesn't have a real good answer yet.
So you kind of park that.
Park that. That's going to end up on the checklist.
It's not a terrible kill the excitement answer. It's just not 100% sure what's going on there. It doesn't
jump out at me that they do. But their numbers make me think that they might have something going on in a niche that's special.
Yeah, they're a funny one. I mean, just to call that one out in particular, they're a funny one for that particular question because within the enormous grocery of course they're not dominant, but in their niche, which is very important to shoppers, they are in fact very strong.
It's very cool. So I don't have an answer to that one. The next one is, do they generate a lot of free cash? That was really easy. That was part of that first few minutes, and just like, oh yeah, these guys print money. This is great. All right. The next one is, what's going to protect them from having companies come after them? And I don't know the answer to that at this stage. I don't know what their position is in the market yet. So I certainly don't know if they have barriers, right? So that has to remain unknown. High return on capital, that was one of the obvious things that happened when I looked at the numbers. It's like, yeah, they got big return on capital, big return on assets, big return on equity. So that box gets checked. And it's a big indicator that there's something good going on here with regard to the dominant market position and the barriers to entry, or they wouldn't be able to sustain those kind of numbers, probably, right? So again, I don't know yet, but I'm pretty comfortable that I've seen the numbers that I'm used to seeing. I like it. Do they have exposure to extrinsic risks somehow? And the answer is probably not, but leave that. How about their balance sheet? That's another really easy one. They've either got a zero debt balance sheet or they don't, right? And they don't. They have nearly zero debt. So great. They don't need access to other people's capital. They can just do their growing right out of their own free cash flow, and they don't need debt. And so excellent management, I don't know yet. I have to leave that one. So this next group of sort of 8 questions from Ackman has a few things that I have to dig in on, and a few things that look, at least on the surface, like they're very good. So we're not eliminating this company yet.
Okay, so you're not ending the process. You're going forward.
Okay, now, and I can do all that in a matter of minutes, really. Once we get down to it and say, okay, this is looking good enough, we can start cranking through that really in a few minutes. And then I'm probably going to do that on my own. And then I'm going to go to my guys, my analyst team.
How did you do it when you were alone? Did you?
Much less organized than this.
Well, that makes
I wish
sense.
I could claim that 40 years ago I had this all nailed down tight and I've just been working the system. But it's been a lot of years of mistakes and good ideas, and this is all kind of developed so that over the last 10 years or so it's become fairly systematic. And I think honestly, a huge part of that is teaching it.
Yeah,
really, a lot of the stuff's just sitting in my head someplace, and
even stuff we've talked about on here. You've said like, "Oh, I'm going to tell you how it works," and then like as we've talked it out, you've been like, "Oh, it actually works in real life, like a little differently than
that
I kind of would have thought."
Exactly,
it's very cool.
It is cool, and it really the old adage is, if you really want to learn something, teach it.
Yeah.
Because you'll discover that the things you think or have assumed, all the things you assumed or a certain kind of way,
right?
You have to go figure them out.
That's like our entire podcast is like, where's the assumption? Because it makes no sense to me.
So this is one of the great things about learning to be an investor is that if you have people in your life you love, you're going to want to teach them how to do this. If they're your children, you're really going to want to teach them how to do this so that they can not have to suffer financially when they wouldn't otherwise had to. So yeah, it's like, I would say the last 10 years, it's become pretty systematic, but I've had people the last 10 years working with me. So
I'm just asking that because 99% of us on here don't have a team of analysts. So.
Right. And so actually that brings up a really important point, I think, and that is it's great to have somebody in your life, at least one person that you can bounce this stuff off of.
Yeah, I so agree with
really
that.
Good investors all do that. Every one of them that I know. You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.